Hello, students and educators. We are so excited to have you join us for Career Exposure Week. My name is Chelsea Hunt. I am the Executive Director of Work-Based Learning and Industry Engagement at the State Department, and I will be your moderator for this session. We will hear from our guest speakers, Willie Morales, ASC2 Project Engineer, and Morgan Arline, AMM Executive Assistant at Boeing, Oklahoma City. And then we will have a Q&A session that I will help field any questions to Willie and Morgan. This session is being recorded and will be housed within the 2020 Oklahoma Career Exposure Week online module. Also, we will send out links to the recorded sessions to everyone who registered for this session today. Please join me in welcoming Willie Morales, ASC2 Project Engineer, and Morgan Arline, AMM Executive Assistant at Boeing, Oklahoma City.
Good morning. We are very excited to have you. My name is Morgan Arline. As mentioned, I am the AMM Executive Assistant. I also have my counterpart here, Willie Morales, who is an ASC2 Project Engineer. And we're just very excited to be here to talk to you guys about the Boeing company. So what we have first is we're going to have a very exciting video play for us. So give us 1 second as we pull that up. Willie, in the meantime, can you go ahead and just share a little bit about Boeing and as this video pulls up?
Yeah, sure. So I like this video because I'm a visual learner, so you'll see that. But Boeing, Oklahoma City, we have a little over 3,000 employees here, and that has significantly grown over the years. We do a lot of different type of modernization and modifications to large aircraft here in Oklahoma City. So Boeing is a worldwide company, across the United States, across other countries. So we want to touch on what we do in the city. So let's look at this video, just kind of give you an idea of the products we work on, and then we can answer any questions at the end. So let's hit play.
Resilient and resourceful. It ascribes to the Oklahoma standard, and together in a time of need, rebuild selflessly, do it with care. It's a vibrant community, unafraid to reinvent and revitalize itself, which makes this pillar of the Great Plains the ideal place to modify and modernize Boeing legacy aircraft. The Oklahoma City team provides immediate solutions to complex situations. These vigilant engineers work as one to make military improvements, upgrades, and progress. They keep both eyes on the future and see opportunity as their work adapts from screens to the skies. The AWACS is the ever-vigilant guard dog. For 4 decades, it has warned our soldiers wherever the fight may be. The C-17 is the trustworthy transport, ferrying troops and cargo in and out of conflict. The ageless B-52, the fortress protecting our nation. It's been on the job for more than 60 years and is expected to live and fly to be 100. Executive Transport Services and Support. The VIP airlift, ready to respond, always accountable. Cutting-edge Boeing labs put these military airplanes out in front of our adversaries. And innovation moves from the simulator to the cockpit. The sleek B-1, part jet fighter, part bomber, flies to Tinker Air Force Base seeking rejuvenation. It flies out on the wings of aviation immortality. Oklahoma City, a beacon of renewal, always ready to do its part to preserve the peace, to make a better world for neighbors near and far.
I hope you like that video. When I'm engaging with students, I always ask them, find careers that when you watch a video like that, it gives you the goosebumps. And 9 years later into my career at Boeing, it gives me the goosebumps. So find something that gives you goosebumps, that gets you excited, because it'll make work a lot more interesting. So then the question becomes to educators and to students. So I want to work on airplanes. I want to work on spaceships and rockets and missiles and cool stuff that flies, right? So what does it take? I won't go through all of these, but I think the bottom line here is that Boeing hires all kinds of engineers, first of all. Lots of different types of engineering. So I want to give you an example. Let's say we're building the next spacecraft to go to Mars, for example. First, we need to build the shell, the structure of that product, right? So we need to have engineers who understand materials, who understand how the loads on that aircraft are going to distribute during flight, during landing, during takeoff, et cetera. So that's where we're going to hire our aerospace engineers, our mechanical engineers, our materials engineers, our chemical engineers, et cetera, to understand the structure, the airplanes that the structures are made from. Now think about all of the software on the aircraft to power the avionics, all the buttons and gizmos on an aircraft or a spacecraft. That's where you're going to hire your software engineers to program millions of lines of code through electrical engineering and hardware engineering. We're going to test all of those to make sure that they're safe and reliable. So we need test engineers, we need test pilots, and to put it all together to make sure that the system is working. We're going to hire systems engineers. An airplane is made up of thousands of parts, thousands of wires, thousands of engineers who put an airplane together. So I think the bottom line here is if you like math and science, if you like putting things together, if you like working in teams, if you like problem solving, then engineering might be for you. So what can you be doing now as a student in the classroom to prepare yourself for a job at a company in aerospace like Boeing is, you know, keep up with your math and your science and challenge yourself to work together as a team and to solve our next, you know, big issues in industry. However, next slide, please. If we were a company of just engineers, we probably wouldn't be a company for long. So we need, we're a business at the end of the day, right? Selling commercial airplanes to airlines, selling military products to our military and our allies, and space products, et cetera. So who helps us keep that business going? Our finance people, our business degrees, our HR representatives, right? Making sure you have a company of 100,000 plus employees functioning, make sure that they're paid well, make sure that they're taken care of, benefits, et cetera. Our supply chain, you know, we work with tons of suppliers across the world to make sure we have everything we need to put our airplanes together, make sure that we have the right tools and resources to support our engineers in doing their work. So it takes a lot more than just engineers to run a company of our size, both in Oklahoma City and across the world. So for educators and students, if you're interested in the business side, I mean, to me, operating in the aerospace industry is very interesting and very exciting and a good business to be in, especially in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is very friendly to aerospace, a lot going on, a lot of companies moving here, a lot of companies growing here. We have Tinker Air Force Base and a couple other Air Force bases and sites that support large modifications and modernization of airplanes. So you can do a lot of aerospace work here in Oklahoma that impacts the whole world. So that's a little, you know, high level, very quick on the type of degrees, the type of career paths at the Boeing company, both in Oklahoma City and at our other sites. Next slide. Go ahead, Morgan.
So as we mentioned, we do a lot here in Oklahoma City. So the Aircraft Modernization and Modification Division is located here in Oklahoma City, right across from Tinker Air Force Base. And so what that basically means is that we take a lot of our military fleet and we upgrade them. So we'll take them from the commercial aspect, some of the things that you guys maybe have flown on during, you know, vacations or whatever, the 37s, the 777. We take some of those and we make them into some of our military derivatives. So our military derivatives are like VC-25A, C-32, C-40, E-4B, some of our ANWC and AWACS. or we may do some of our bombers work. So as you see here, we have a wide variety cast of programs and platforms that we support here at the Oklahoma City site. You may have seen a lot of these fly out of Tinker Air Force Base, which is some of our favorites that we've seen, that one with the big dome at the top. You've seen these day and day coming right outside of Tinker Air Force Base. Another fun thing that we have is that we have some of our tanker work happening. So it's one of these similar planes, but it has a little fuel pump that comes out of it. So you'll start seeing a lot more of those kind of come off and take off. As well as we have a lot of our B-1 and B-52 here that are flying out of Tinker Air Force Base. So if you guys ever want to see what kind of work that we do here at Oklahoma City, just look up at the sky, because you'll see a wide variety of these planes just coming in and out.
The only thing I would add is, these are a lot of our airplanes that we support. So I've worked on the bombers, I've worked on tankers, and now I work on the AWACS. So that's an important part about working for a company like Boeing, is that you can move around, get your hands in multiple platforms, and just learn about the commercial derivative side of airplanes, fighters, bombers, space, etc. So I love the diversity of our products here in Oklahoma City.
And then that too, I will count on that. So I've been here at the site for about 5 years now, and I can say that I've touched pretty much every one of these planes except for B2 and Alcom and Calcom. But each one of these planes I have either stepped foot on, I've touched the skin of it, I've been around, and that's what I just love working here in Oklahoma City and working with Boeing, is just a wide variety. My day is never the same, depending on what program or platform I'm supporting. I may be out here touching one of these two of those things. And so how many people can say that they've touched VC-25A or that they touched a B-52? It's wide, it's not that big of a net, but that's what I love and enjoy, is that I can go around and I can say, hey, have you been around a VC-25A or a B-52? So I'm just very excited for the programs and the platforms that we support. The team is awesome here in Oklahoma City. We have a lot of work coming at the site, and that's coming into the site. So never a dull day here. And we need all of our future engineers to come together and help continue on with our military derivatives, as well as our commercial support, as well as our space support. So before we jump into questions, me and Willie want to introduce ourselves real quick. We want to kind of give you an aspect of the planes and platforms that we have there before we start spilling into our background and maybe having you, wondering, well, what is she talking about? So since that I'm talking, I'll go ahead and start. My name is Morgan Arline. I was a electromagnetic effects engineer for the past 5 years in the Boeing company. I've been with the Boeing company about 7 years. I've now transitioned into that program management role, that business side that Willie was talking about earlier. I support that organization now, supporting our business and program management side, seeing that all of these programs are aligned together, that us as a site, as AMM Oklahoma City site, is operating together, and we're producing first-time quality, and that we are providing the support and necessary support to our customers and to our aircraft, to our military aircraft users. Before that, in electromagnetic effects, that is an electrical engineering subset. So my background is in electrical engineering, and with EME, I was able to, that job was dealing with the electronics on the aircraft, ensuring that they all are coming together and playing correctly. So especially with the AWACS, this dome right here, it's a big radio. And so we don't want this radio to interact with any of the radios that are going on with our cockpit, what's going on with some of our other electrical systems in the aircraft. So us as an EME role went out there and we tested each aircraft. We made sure that everything was playing together well as one cohesive unit, so that we are ensuring the safety of our crew members, as well as letting the AWACS meet its intended mission.
Yeah, and I'll keep mine really short. So for about 6 years, I worked on the structures team. So we were building new parts, keeping old airplanes flying. So a lot of work goes into keeping old airplanes up to date and adding new capabilities. So on the structures team, I did that for a while on multiple airplanes and love that part. And then most recently as a project engineer, similar to Morgan, I went into the project management, project leadership type of role as a lean agile leader for one of our organizations. So, working with about 100+ engineers now on how do we make sure that we deliver products faster, better, cheaper, more efficient, etc. So it's been fun transitioning from hardcore, cranking equations engineering to more of the leadership side. And that's another thing that I like about a company like Boeing. So I think we got some time here. I really want to open it up for questions, anything you have for your students, or if you're interested as an educator on what you can best do to prepare your students for aerospace, we'd be happy to answer those.
That is a fantastic presentation. And I love the parts about the goosebumps. You know, we should have goosebumps when we're going into a career field that we love and have passion for. We do have some questions already. The first one is, are there positions for people who haven't gone to college, but maybe they went to a technology center?
I can answer that, Morgan. I know that we have a lot of lab work in Oklahoma City, and continuing to grow there. For a lot of technicians, we do hire technicians, and across the Boeing company, a lot more so than Oklahoma City. If you're thinking about a production line, so if we have production line sites at Seattle or St. Louis or some of our other sites, you're going to hire your people with tech degrees, tech certifications, and in engine repair and those kind of degrees. So absolutely. And a lot of our lab leaders will move up in the company, or they'll go and pursue more education in aerospace while they're working. So yeah, definitely a route for technical specialists at the Boeing company. Here in Oklahoma City, a big percentage of our employees are engineers, however.
Very nice. It's good to hear that there's advancement in different career pathways, whatever education background you have at Boeing. That's wonderful to hear. Another question for both of you. Does Southwest Airlines fly 737s?
Yes.
Very nice. Another question. How long do the planes usually last? And what are the oldest planes that you have both worked on?
So I worked on the B-52 bomber, which is over 60 years old. And how do you keep something flying like that? Because of engineers like us, right? Keeping up to date, making sure we're inspecting the airplanes. So it takes a lot of work, and that's some of the oldest military airplanes. On the commercial side, it depends. Different airlines have different standards on when they upgrade their airplanes, and it's usually based on flight miles, right? How much they use their airplanes. But that's the B-52 is one of the oldest airplanes I've worked on.
Yeah, and I will add, just like anything, just like your car, just like your home, there is a lifespan, but with the work of the engineers and the design work, we are constantly in place and working to make sure that we are keeping up that lifespan of the aircraft, that we're ensuring that it's still safe to fly, especially in the commercial world. And with the military world, a lot of our fleet is aging, but we are making sure that our engineers are up to date. We're updating those designs. We're continuing to improve that quality of the product, and to include to make sure that the safety of the crew is first. Like Willie said, the oldest aircraft that I have been on is the B-52 bombers, which is an excellent aircraft. It is a huge aircraft, but it is very exciting to kind of step forward and to step on that plane, knowing that it has about a lifespan about 60 years, I think 60 plus.
Nice. And then a final question for you. Just curious to know what inspired both of you to even get into the pathway of aerospace and defense?
So I'll start. I did my internship with Boeing back in 2014 as an electrical engineer, and this was my first ever stint of being in aerospace. When I got my degree in electrical engineer, just like anything, there's a wide variety of what you can do with electrical engineering. And so Boeing was the first company I talked to, and just hearing from the workplace culture, the work-life balance, the team that was there, it really kind of kicked my peaked up. And once I became more technical and way more involved with the aircraft, I think just knowing that I can see the product that I'm working on, I can see the users of the product, I can have those conversations, I am constantly touching that aircraft, inspires me each and each day to continue to be in aerospace and to continue to strengthen the aerospace industry, to continue to push people towards the aerospace industry, because it's not going anywhere, and that the wide variety of what you can do there and the wide variety of people you can touch, it's more than you can ever put into your hands into that aspect.
For me, I'm a first generation college student. I didn't even know what college was, how to get in. So it was all a new world. And I said, if I'm going to fail, I might as well fail hard. I'm going to try something difficult, something challenging, something that interests me. So I said, I want to be a rocket scientist. And I just went for it. I wasn't the best at math or science, but it interested me. And that, I think, is what got me through college, is I kept pushing myself. I was interested in engineering. I was interested in airplanes. So I kept with it. So for me, it's always been a passion on, gives me the goosebumps to see airplanes, and now to get to work on them just makes me proud to be able to say I work for the world's largest aerospace company. So again, I'll reiterate the importance of find something you love, find something you're passionate about, and everything else will kind of line up and work out for you.
Oh, I love that. I just want to say thank you both to Willie and Morgan for sharing your diverse backgrounds, your diverse experiences in education, and your passion and love for aerospace and defense. It's good to hear how students can make that happen for themselves as well. So we thank you for sharing that experience and just sharing more about Boeing with us today. To all of my students and my educators, thank you for joining us for this session. We have another session coming up at 10:30, and we're going to continue to learn about aerospace and defense careers. We hope you come back and join us for that. I've also put in the chat a link for a survey, so you'll let us know how the Career Exposure Week events have been going for you, so we know how to better equip them for 2022. Yes. So again, thank you both so very much, and I wish you a wonderful day.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
Bye.